Hey Fitheads, today we're bringing you our first ever guest episode that got shelved and we didn't get to show you because when we recorded it, it was right before the lockdown in person with our bestie Kim. But when the lockdown happened, we knew we needed to talk about lockdown workouts and surviving in quarantine. Though we're bringing this to you today, even though it was even before we were doing video episodes, so it's just audio. But we're so glad to show you now because this was a great episode. It was so fun hanging out with Kim. She's such a beast, so please enjoy. This episode, we talk with KymNonStop about training like a cyclist, plant-based diets, high-intensity intervals versus steady-state cardio, and the blockbuster Premium Rush.
Welcome to Total Fitheads.
Serious fitness for not-so-serious people. Hi, Kim. Welcome.
Hi.
Today we have a cyclist and Soulcyclist and drifter, and what else are you? KymNonStop.
YouTuber?
Oh, yeah, that too. Great. I am so stoked to hear your insights on all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Max is here too. Hi.
Oh, yeah. Sick.
The bearded one with no sleeves. Except today he's wearing sleeves, guys. It's scandalous.
Whoa,
No,
it's an
what?
audio
No.
podcast, so maybe we'll just we'll cut that part out later.
No cuts.
We can hear it. I can hear your sleeves right now.
First time I ever met Kim Nonstop, she was wearing no sleeves, and she was way more jacked than I am. Still today, still to this day, I assume. But that's pretty embarrassing.
That was the same day I met her too. Did we all meet that
Easy.
at that happy hour?
We might have. We
I-
were wearing like the same outfit.
So apparently I had no sleeves too.
It was like a tank top and jeans and sneakers. I mean, not that obvious match, but it was enough for us to be like, hey, we're like twins.
And then we were friends or nemesis forever. Great. All right, wait. Tell me about your bike messenger background. Let's get into it.
Oh, you want to talk about, there are a
We're
lot of
going
people
way-
who are listening to this podcast who probably don't even know what a bike messenger is.
What's a bike messenger?
Exactly. I found when I moved to LA, people are like, what's a bike messenger?
Do they still happen?
It does. It's still a profession.
What? I have a computer in my pocket. Like, why?
Does it
Well,
happen
you know-
outside of New York City,
It's definitely more.
the mecca of cycling?
In Beaver County, someone's got to get a document in my hometown to another building. No, I feel like it's never going to happen anywhere else.
The profession definitely thrives in cities where the bike is faster than the car. So New York, Boston,
Tokyo.
even
I don't know.
Chicago because it's denser or more congested. Tokyo, Tokyo's another place.
Well, I've been thinking about this
Mexico
because
City, big in Mexico City.
Really?
Yeah, but congestion. So anywhere you have like massive congestion. And actually, it probably would thrive in LA too if it wasn't because like
If you
there
had to put 35 miles between
Right.
things every single time.
there's so much traffic though that even still like now with the birth of like e-bikes, like everyone's got an e-bike. So anyway, it probably would do really well. It's just that Angelinos very much are stuck in their own ways and believe that the car is the best way all the time, and that's just a belief system that hasn't yet dissipated.
it did for you. You're
Yeah.
biking everywhere.
I love it. You are too.
Yeah.
You never drive.
It feels a little dangerous, but whatever. It is in New York too, right?
Well, I actually feel safer in New York because cars don't ever get a chance to go above like 18 miles per hour. So,
That's true.
so I feel safer. Like if I get hit in LA, I feel like I'm actually going to be hurt. But like in New York, I've been hit multiple times. I was a bike messenger for like 6 years. I call it 6 winters because if you work through the winter, like that's what really makes you a professional bike messenger.
Is that like and the inside?
Oh yeah, they call them all-weather pros. It's like a real thing. So I was an all-weather pro for 6 years, and like I got hit probably 4 times on the job. And
That's it? I've gotten hit 4 times just trying to get to my gym.
Yeah, I mean like where it was like a thing.
What
you
was the
know?
worst? What was the worst hit?
I would say
Did you get doored? Is that a thing?
Dooring is definitely one of the doorings I got was like
One of the
horrible.
doorings. Oh
There's
shit!
multiple.
Door is a verb.
We call it the door prize. You got the door prize. But yeah, it's just
Is it exactly like what it sounds like?
the
Somebody
door
just
opens at the perfect moment. The perfect moment.
And that guy feels
you
so
just
dumb.
flip over the door and
And
no,
die. And
That's the thing
immediately
about New
die.
York. New Yorkers don't give a fuck. Like, they're just like, whatever. And
Sucks to suck, bro.
And they close the door and they keep going. I mean, these people it was a mother and a daughter. They were tourists. And the shitty part is like as a messenger, you feel like you know the streets and you're like, I'm never going to ride close enough to a car so that their door can catch me.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, like, I'm riding very close to cars when I'm cutting lanes, but it's gridlock traffic. So, like, cars aren't going anywhere. It's gridlock traffic, and I'm cutting lanes. And, like, why would you let a passenger out in the middle of the street?
Right.
But in New York City, in a cab, in Times Square, that's
Sure.
totally okay.
All bets are off. Yeah.
Yeah, so I flipped over this tourist taxi cab door, and this lady from the Midwest was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I was just like, "Pay me." Yeah, but she didn't. She ran off to go see Oklahoma or something.
So now we're wearing a helmet. We're wearing elbow pads. We're
hope I
wearing
was wearing
a
a helmet
mouth
at that
guard.
point.
We're doing goggles. What are we doing
No,
here?
none of the above. Honestly, I'm smarter now, and if you ride a bike, wear a helmet. Allie, Spagnola.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I wear a helmet now all the time because I have, over the years, I've been riding a bike nearly every day of my life for a long time now, and I have lost friends to head injuries. So, like, to me, it's more like disrespectful also if I like get on my bike and I think I'm gonna be fine not wearing one. But like through most of my 20s, I was like, had the I'm invincible mentality, and I didn't wear anything.
Right.
You were biking nude?
Yep.
Nude King.
Yep.
Nude King. When you're in New York, do you do this stuff? I mean, I assume it's, are you going GPS, or are you just like looking at the traffic and eyeballing it? Or like,
I'm
how's this
embarrassed to
working?
admit this, but this was pre-GPS.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. Did you pull out a map and
Like,
unfurl
Did you get
it at
your-
a red light?
I had
I need
a
a
Nokia
compass.
phone.
Right, of course. So you must know New York
And
inside and out.
radios.
Holy moly.
Yeah, well, New York's not that hard to know inside out. Actually, Manhattan isn't. It's a grid, so it's pretty easy. Although there are some like very confusing streets, but like it doesn't take long to figure those parts out. If you have like regular deliveries, like everything below Houston Street, and it's not Houston Street, it's Houston Street, is like that everything changes. So Avenue A
Right.
turns into Essex, Avenue B turns into Clinton, Avenue C turns into Pitt, and D turns into Columbia.
We're getting a New York nerd off right now.
So yeah, like I mean, you start to learn all the like streets below Houston. That's really where things kind of get chaotic. But yeah, I'm a little dyslexic, so I actually got yelled at quite a few times by my dispatcher because I would confuse like 1688th Avenue with like 1866th
Right.
Avenue or something in my head, like just trying to keep it straight in my head. But it is a part of your brain that like grows and shrinks. Like they say like, oh God, I've listened to a podcast about this. Is it the hippocampus or whatever? The part of your brain that like stores directions, and that like London cab drivers have like a much bigger brain, that part of their brain, because they have to know everything by
That's
memory.
awesome.
I've seen that. Then on MRIs, they'll ask them to just like think about going through a route, and that part just lights up, and it's like meaty in their brain. Yeah, it's
I'd
really
love
cool.
/hate to see what my brain is full of. It's like
yeah.
superhero trivia. The whole 2/3 like finance. Like, I'm sorry, this isn't here.
Wait, are we allowed to curse? No, we shouldn't.
Yeah,
curse.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're good.
But like leading into the Amazing Race, when I got on the Amazing Race and I had about 6 months of lead time knowing I was about to go on the Amazing Race, I turned off like my GPS on my phone, was like, I'm not using this anymore because I'm not going to have it
Right.
when I go on the show. And so, like, I mean, those days were long gone of me navigating through a city with no GPS and no smartphone. Like, I'd had a smartphone at this point for, like, a long time. So my brain had shriveled down to the size of a raisin. And I was like, cool, I really want to win $1 million. I'm going to be in a reality show, and I'm competitive as hell. So I'm going to fucking win this shit. And I just moved to LA. And so I was like, everywhere I have to go, I'm going
Dang.
to figure it out. Paper map, I'm going to ask for directions.
Compass. The
Straight
sun.
up,
Look at the sun.
compass, Yeah, like I'm not even kidding. You do look at the sun.
Yeah.
Like in LA, like when the sun's setting, you're like, that's west. It's really easy. Because you can actually see the skyline here versus New York. You never know where you are. But yeah, so I mean, I think I like my sense of direction got really good back then, and then it all went to shit after the show.
I mean, how is that useful otherwise? Because if we never need directions, what is the point to build that part of your brain? Unless you can use it for other things. I mean, it's like visual spatial navigation. How maybe humans just don't need it anymore. Like that's an obsolete.
So we do.
Look,
zombie apocalypse. We're fucked.
That's what I
Boom.
was just going there.
This is the second episode that we've talked about that now. I think this is secretly an apocalypse.
Yeah, this should be a segment.
episode.
How long do you think you would last in a zombie apocalypse? And you know what? We should guess for you first. I'm
Okay.
gonna guess you would last for fucking ever.
Ooh, I love
Absolutely
that.
forever.
Yeah,
Get the
endurance
bike,
sport,
get the endurance.
for sure.
That's
Yeah.
it. Whereas-
Who needs upper body strength? I mean, like if I got like covered by rocks, I wouldn't come to you to like unbury me. So it's on me to like not need someone with upper body
I can lift with
strength.
my legs.
Okay. Oh, that's fair.
What you're supposed to do anyway. Listen, guys, I love that you have faith in me. There is one reason that I will be one of the first to go in the zombie apocalypse.
no
and that-
sushi.
No, I don't have LASIK, and I'm blind as a bat. So the first thing, if I do want to survive the zombie apocalypse, I should get LASIK, because if I lose a contact lens or my glasses, I am screwed. I will walk right up to a zombie and be like, "Yo, what's up?" And
You're
they'll
like,
be
excuse
like,
me, excuse. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought you were alive. My bad. LASIK is like doing curls for your eyeballs. We should, yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
I actually never thought about that, but well, there's that one episode of the show
Walking Dead?
Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone. You know what I'm talking about?
Twilight Zone.
Where he like
Walking Dead.
finally gets to his perfect place where everyone's dead and he just loves reading, and so he's in a library and like has the rest of eternity to read, and then he breaks his glasses.
Oh.
It's one of the most fucked up endings. And he's like, that's not fair. This isn't fair. And then
Yeah.
it zooms out and you're like, okay, well, I'm never watching this fucking show again. It's like, ugh, it's awful.
So brutal.
So wait, what is your average day like whenever you were bike messaging? Like walk through that as like it's a workout. What is your heart rate doing? How many miles are you covering? What?
Okay, you guys want to know from like the fitness aspect? Because
Yeah.
like from like the day to day, I was like, you should just watch Premium Rush. It's pretty accurate.
Funny you should say that.
Yeah. Definitely caught an early screening today. And I got to tell you, fantastic job. For anyone who hasn't seen or heard of Premium Rush, it's one of the greatest movies of all time. It's the Fast and the Furious of the bike messenger world.
And it stars.
And it stars one of the most
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
celebrated actresses of all time, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
but also Kim is in it.
I'm in it too. So shameful plug, but
Amazing stuff. Is that, I mean, I'm guessing it's like a documentary. That's what
it is.
your daily
No,
life
but
is like, right?
honestly, like
So there wasn't acting. It was just convincing being yourself.
the crazy thing, I mean, other than like the bad cop, like guy that chases him, like that, other than like the plot line, everything else is totally accurate.
The
Like,
moment when you turn down a job because you guys are gonna go get really drunk.
yeah, totally.
Okay.
Totally. And like the zoom out when you reach an intersection and you see like all the possible options, like that's kind of something that your brain is doing when you're like about to run a red light in New York City and you see like the pedestrian coming this way and the baby stroller going that way and the taxi cab going this way and this is going, you know, like you get that stuff becomes like a sixth sense. So
Crazy.
and there is something called the green wave. I think they talk about that in the movie too. Whereas like if you time it just right or if you go fast enough, like you catch the green wave and you can just make it like all the way up the entire length of Manhattan without stopping.
Green lights.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Well,
Cool.
I mean, even if you
And
don't make a
you're
green light,
on-
you just run the red
Right.
and like. But there is like I remember the first time I think I made it from downtown like Essex and God, it was really grand all the way to First and 72nd in like just over 15 minutes. I think it was
Oh my
something
God.
insane. You know, like I was like, I am fast and unstoppable.
I am a superhero. So
Yeah,
just
you really
FYI.
feel like you are. I mean, like I was
Well-
also 20 something and like stupid, but
And your brain's making insane calculations that no one in a normal job gets challenged like that.
yeah, I
That's
mean,
like you
maybe-
guys, fighter pilots,
Yeah.
pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was such an awesome movie. It was so fun to watch you in the movie. Is that the opening line of the movie? I actually had a question about it. He says something like fucking single track or something.
Fixed gear.
Fixed gear.
One gear.
Pedals like never stop pedaling.
Uh-huh.
And literally in the scene, 5 seconds before that, he stops pedaling.
He's coasting.
Yeah, he's like drifting. So I was so confused. I was like, That's sick. It looks awesome, but I don't understand what the fuck is
Does he stop
happening.
pedaling and slide his back wheel?
Yes.
Okay, that's called
So
skidding.
what the fuck is that?
That's called skidding. So like if you're riding a brakeless track bike, a fixed gear bike, and
Which I have, and I don't ride it fixed.
Right.
Thanks for the bike, by the
You
way.
also put a brake on it, right?
yeah, of
Because
course.
otherwise, how would you
course.
stop? So there's a couple ways you could stop if you're riding a brakeless track bike. So you have one gear, and it's called, like, in a mechanical sense, it's a direct drive. So the bike only goes as fast or as slow as your legs pedal. So if you pedal slowly, the bike moves slowly.
Right.
Pedal backwards, the bike moves backwards.
Right.
Like a unicycle, right?
Yeah,
But so if you've got some momentum going and you stop and you really push back, your back wheel, you lock it. And so the back wheel just drags and it burns rubber through your tire.
Yeah.
But it's how you stop. It's how you slow down. So
They like side
and you
drift.
can drift it. You can drift it.
So
yeah,
cool.
It's very cool.
Can you do that?
They used all of us stunt doubles for that part because Joseph Gordon-Levitt wasn't doing that part himself.
He does it in one scene for sure.
It's not him. It's a stunt double.
You hate to see
Yeah,
it.
it's a stunt double. But the stunt doubles were incredibly talented. Austin Horse was one of them. One of my buddies, Austin. So
Cool.
You probably saw Austin.
I watched the supplementary interview with him and a bunch of the other
Yeah.
guys, and they were like,
There were
"Yeah, it's totally fun. We all broke our arms, like no big deal." I was like, "What is happening right now?"
Wait, yeah, tell us about your injuries, because I wanted to talk about that.
Why do you
You're
want to
just
talk
getting
about my
here.
injuries?
We don't have to. We could talk about track racing, because we,
Yeah, no, but there's something about us being a stunt double actually that I learned when I was on that movie. Is that as a stunt double, you don't want the crew to know when you're injured. You don't want anyone to know when you're injured because
Damaged goods.
it's a liability for the crew at that point for the movie. And so actually when we were on that movie, it was me and one other female stunt double, and that was it. This woman, Asia Frary, and I think she's still working in the business. She was hardcore into being a stunt woman. And I was brought on simply because I'm a cyclist and I'm like really good at riding this specific bike. But she was good at doing all the other things like falling and flipping and anything.
It's a high octane movie
yeah.
for sure.
So she flips, she does the flip in this one scene and she busts open her knee and
In real life.
she slinks around the corner and I like didn't know, no one knew she was injured. And like, I came around the corner at one point and like, was like, oh, she's bleeding. And she was like, yeah, that's, and then they were like, we got it. It's a wrap. And she was like, cool. And then she like slinked off to the hospital,
Emergency
like,
room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think she was fine. It wasn't anything major, but like at the same time, like was kind of a crazy insight I got to being like, oh, like this is what it takes to make it in this world. And I was like, I don't know, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Some people I think are some of the most underappreciated people
100%.
in film. I mean, there's no Oscar for stunts. Like, what the fuck?
right?
That's
yeah,
one of the
point
biggest
is that they're
draws to one
hidden.
of them. You know, there's
Yeah.
like
There really should be. And when I went to the premiere for that movie, and I was so proud of like all the scenes I had I'd done all this stuff for the movie, and I'm in it, and like literally you only see me as Kim in like a few scenes, and
as Polo, excuse me.
right, Polo, yeah, it's just a different name for basically me playing myself. But then like I'm in almost every other scene doing a lot of riding stuff, and no one knows because they have put makeup on me and changed my outfit and done all these other things, and it's like wide shots, and I was just like, this sucks. I want credit. Like that's how I knew. I was like, I'll never be a stunt double.
So
for
you
real.
stopped risking your life and moved to Soulcycle.
Well, Soulcycle was before that.
Really?
Soulcycle let me take 3 months off
What?
to shoot that movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Soulcycle, like, I started Soulcycle in 2006. Literally, Julie Rice plucked me from one of these, like, I was teaching a class at another gym. I was crazy, y'all. I was a bike messenger during the day, and then in the mornings and the nighttime, I would train and teach fitness classes. So, and then I would go rehearse music or go dancing with my friends or go to a bar. So, like,
What were you eating at the time?
I didn't
just
sleep, I'm
nonstop.
pretty sure. I don't know what I was eating at the time. Like, and I didn't do drugs, so like it wasn't like I was like doing crazy amounts of cocaine either. So
Coffee.
yeah,
Just a lot of
not
coffee.
even coffee. 'Cause
Adrenaline?
I've never
That's
been
it?
big. I've never been big on coffee. I was just, I was like hyperactive, could do everything all the time. I wish I could still be like that, but yeah. So I would on the side just like teach a spin class, and in between like riding for 8 hours, like
And this is back when spin didn't have any soul to it.
Right.
This is just normal spin
Right.
with no candles and cult light following.
None of that stuff.
Okay.
And this girl came to my class and was like, "Oh, Julie wants to meet you, this woman I'm working with." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." Like, she's like, it's on that, we have a studio on the Upper West Side. And I was like,
This is the CEO of
Yeah,
Soulcycle, right?
one of the founders.
Yeah, the founders that just like right at the beginning.
and I was like, "No thanks, Upper West Side, I'm good." And then they were like, "All right, well, think about it. We'd love for you to come check out the studio." And so, like, finally, they were like hounding me, and I went up, and they were like, "This is what we'll pay you," and I was like, "Okay."
Also, we're building a religion and
Well,
going to take over the planet.
None of us knew that at the time.
They didn't believe in
We-
themselves. They were just like, "Hey, we got lucky," and
We just
things-
weren't that big yet, so it
Yeah.
wasn't clear what was happening.
It wasn't like there was this huge vision at the beginning.
No, they were just really into like making a spin studio happen. I think it was like a fun project for them. It wasn't this like grandiose goal of like having a franchise and like hundreds of studios and hundreds of followers, like hundreds of thousands of millions of followers. It wasn't like that. It was just like these two women who live on the Upper West Side owning a spin studio. It was a workout that they personally liked to do because they were not gym people. So they had tapped into this thing that like people that really hate going to the gym, they started that movement of boutique fitness. Like they were they were on the forefront of creating like a safe space for people who were like, I am not walking into a fucking gym. Like, no way, you know?
Turn the lights down.
Yeah. Let's
play
make this
really loud
inviting.
music.
Yeah, crank some
and-
jams. Make a
Yeah.
little group thing out of it.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what my class was outside of Soulcycle inside of a gym. I would turn down the lights and like crank the jams, but like you still had to walk into the gym. You still had to be a member of that gym. You still had to check in, go to the locker room, walk past like the free weights area where there's like a ton of yoked dudes looking at you weird and like always feeling weird, you know? And so Soulcycle just like eliminated that whole process.
And you think that's what made them stand apart and why they took off?
Part of the reason that, and also Julie came from California and the talent background, talent management. And so what she did was she found these personalities that she thought would be great teachers. And then she treated us like talent and was like, pretty much hit the nail on the head that instructors and really good instructors, like who have a little something extra than just being a knowledgeable instructor, but like the personality and like the spark and the charisma, and then treating them like talent. And
You're all
that's how she was-
superstars. And when I
and-
go, I want
yeah.
to impress you.
Yeah.
I want to sit in the front bike and do a good job so that Kim likes what I'm doing.
Right. And they create this like rabid following because they're like, there's something more to them than just like an instructor.
Yeah.
So she was really good at cultivating those personalities into one studio.
And it's crazy because the boutique fitness is just so big now. There's like
Now,
so many,
yeah.
but it's like the soul cycle of climbing is Rise Nation. The soul cycle of boxing is
Right.
whatever that one's called.
Yeah.
And they all are, are sort of
Rumble.
following
Yeah.
Rumble. That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Which are great, by the way. I haven't done Rise Nation. Have you done it?
I haven't. I need to go.
It's a Versa climber.
Versa climbers.
Yeah.
I need to go.
But like Soul Cycle, and you have your own bike or
Yeah.
whatever, your own spot,
Yeah.
your own boxing bag. And it's all, that's so crazy that it started with Soul Cycle.
Yeah.
Is
And
that
it
what
was-
makes a good instructor? How, like, do you think you could find a good instructor now, or put your?
Well, yeah, I had to do it with Drift. So I got brought on to Drift a little over a year ago as the chief fitness officer.
What's
Give
drift?
us a little background on Drift.
Drift is a fitness studio based in San Francisco. It is the world's first mobile boutique fitness studio. So it is.
It's dope. I've done it.
It's
It's
completely solar powered, packs in, packs out. We can open up into incredible locations. So we did a whole summer stint on the beach. It was amazing. Soulcycle's kind of done pop-ups like this, but we like every day is a pop-up for us, which is really cool. And San Francisco's been really great. The city's been really great about working with us and giving us good locations. So the workout is an hour long. Allie, you can speak on it. You did it.
Yeah, and it's intervals, it's cardio, it's weights, and it's rowing.
Mhm.
That's the drift pun, right? I had a great time, and you're going back and forth between rowing and weights and more of like a Metcon feel for all my CrossFit bros out there.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's led by a very charismatic person.
Yeah. And I mean, that was my favorite part, I think, of the job. Well, I don't know. So being brought on in the beginning, I had to create the workout for the studio. So I developed the workout, within the parameters. I wasn't allowed to use treadmills because they're just too bulky and heavy. And so they were like,
Yeah. So what does it look like? Like if I walk up to one, how do I know I'm looking at it? Is it like a van? Is it like a bus? Is
well,
it like a
it's a full, you actually think you're catching a festival or something. It's like a full, it doesn't look like a truck from one side. It's like a huge stage almost. And then from the other side, you can see the cab of the truck, but it very much doesn't look like a truck. It's a 40-person capacity fitness studio.
There was
With
towels. I couldn't believe it. It felt like I was
Yeah.
walking to a normal studio. And it was crazy because I also felt like a superstar because everyone walking past was like, what? Where did this come from? What is going on? And you were like being...
you're like, ho hum.
Yeah.
Out of my way,
Excuse me.
plebs.
All right, let me just like paint the picture for you. You walk up, you see this blue structure thing placed into like a beautiful surrounding, like palm trees and some water, and there's just this blue structure, and you hear music, and you're like, oh, I think I'm going. Oh, it says Drift. Okay, I'm going to the right place.
Drift with a Y.
Yeah, and then you walk up, and there's a desk. You check in, and then they're like, here's your towel, and then there's lockers with phone chargers and help yourself. And then when the instructor's ready, they'll open the door, and they open the door, and the music's, swells out the door, and the instructor says, come on in, drifters, like Saturday, 11 o'clock's ready to get started. You walk up the stairs, and when you step into the studio, you see this sweeping, breathtaking view of like Alcatraz in the water and some like seagulls flying over and the Golden Gate Bridge. I am not shitting you. This is real. And then to your right, you have 2 rows of rowers, and to your left, you have like 4 racks of weights and benches. And your class starts.
And then they kick your fucking ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
I honestly liked it way better than Soulcycle. Not just like a little bit better, because it was like crazy cardio. I felt like I could push myself way more, but that might just be something about me that like getting my heart rate up on a bike is not as easy as rowing. Just like takes me into red zone immediately. And then when we switched to the weights part, it wasn't like you're sitting on a bike and still kind of pumping around and like making arm circles with 1-pound weights. It was like you could go heavy, and it was a
Yeah.
lot of reps, and
Yeah.
it felt like like a Metcon in between rowing.
And you can really go heavy if you want, because it's the weight section is timed, so it's like as many reps as you want to get in that amount of time. So you could go heavy and slow if you wanted to, whatever your goal is, or you could go lighter, faster. And then there's an AMRAP section, which is for us for drift is as many rounds as possible, and it's usually lower repetition. So it'll be like 4 reps of something. So you can go heavy and you can do snatches and like whatever. Like we do real lifting during that time, and we have a bench, so we do chest presses. So it's like your heart rate is up because you're supersetting. You're going from one to another, but you can go at your own pace, and everything's timed, so you don't have to go to the beat during the weight training. The rowing, we like it.
Oh.
It'd be cool if you could go to the beat certain times, and then we have these rounds that are called full throttle.
Yeah.
And that's just when you go to your like maximum, and we get our pace. Like people put crazy meters down. People are putting down like in a class, like in one section, 2,600 meters. So double that. Math.
No, that was my
52.
favorite part too, because you're like, I don't know if you can get to X number in this amount of time, and I'm like, the hell I can't, and then I would like push myself to hit
Right.
that. But when you did, it felt like so good, and yeah, just getting that like immediate number feedback like
Right.
definitely took me further than I would have alone.
It really speaks to a competitive person, but
What?
even if you're not competitive, there's a lot of encouragement, and you're kind of like the other thing that's very different about drift is the orientation. The rowing, the rowers, which we call the crew, faces the deck, and the deck is where everyone's doing the weights, so they're facing each other. So it's a little more like CrossFit, I guess, in that way. Not like Barry's or Soulcycle where like the lights are off and you can't see anyone, or you're facing yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
It's like you have a team and you feel more a part of something.
So you're making eye contact with somebody
Hell
while they're
yeah!
rowing,
So
and
you
you're doing
feel like
curls.
you have to like bring it, You just,
And is it always total body? Because when I went, it wasn't like, oh, today's chest day or whatever. Like I was just fully wrecked.
it's not always total body.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have arm day, upper body days, leg days, chest and back, all that stuff.
Oh, cool. So if I like get used to drift, I'll kind of know where it's going to be and drift over to it, and then I can take your classes.
Exactly. I mean, the idea is that drift is going to multiply quickly, and then there'll be one in each area, so you'll have a consistent one to go to.
Yeah, I want them at festivals, actually. Like, when I travel to, events, the hardest part is finding a CrossFit gym to drop into.
Yeah.
Didn't you come to the Michelob event when we did our pop-up there?
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah. And I also went to the gym in the hotel during a fitness event.
Oh my God. I did too, though. I'm not going to lie.
What's your hotel gym workout look like?
Oh boy. Well, you can
What's
look
your
at my
hotel room? Okay, you're
My
on the road.
YouTube channel has it.
You're on the road. First and foremost, do you work out when you travel?
It all depends on what I'm traveling for. These days, I'm always traveling for some fitness event or job.
Right.
You work out after a full day at bodybuilding.com shooting 8 hours of workout?
Hell no.
Yeah.
No, usually I'm just like dying. I'm like Epsom salt bath and CBD lotion.
We are
Gloomy.
unsure if that works.
Yeah, jury's out on CBD. We don't know if it works or
Placebo
doesn't
effect.
work.
We
Yeah.
were discussing
Maybe
this
could be
earlier.
the massage. Possibly a lot is put into that massage.
What about you, Max? Your hotel workout.
My hotel workout varies quite a bit depending on like if I'm going out for something. Typically I work out as a hangover cure. So if I'm going to party somewhere, it's definitely like a big, but I mean the hotel gym is like the most varied gym ever. Sometimes you're going in and it's a full on like brand new thing. And sometimes you're going in and it's like a treadmill from 1980.
And one
Fucking
cable.
Nordic track, you know what I mean? There's like a couple of 5s and a couple of 95-pound dumbbells, and that's it. So it definitely like I like doing bodyweight stuff, but I love it if I have equipment. But I always do it I go to the hotel gym and I'm like, okay, cool. There's a Stairmaster. I guess I can do that. Or nope, there's nothing here. It's just a stick. I guess I'm. So it varies for me.
I
sure.
cannot do like a shitty gym, like closet,
Yeah.
So I would sooner, and I'm not a fan of running, but I would sooner strap on my sneakers and go for a run at that point. Or I also like fitness tourism. So like this is something like when you're in a new city, like go check out what's popular there. Like I was in Nashville and I was like, what's this? Hot box. Sounds
Hot
weird.
wings.
Let me go
Yeah.
try it. And it was warm boxing, but it kicked my butt. It was a really hard workout. And I remember this teacher was a sassy like drill sergeant lady, and like I had a great time. So I would love to like check out what like group fitness is happening in different cities.
Yeah, I guess like I just imagine LA being the boutique fitness place, but they're everywhere.
Yeah, there's stuff everywhere, and it's like research, Probably write it
Professional
off.
research.
When you gotta hire someone for drift, you're seeing new talent.
Exactly.
Well,
Discover the next fitness star.
obviously they're sitting right next to you. We didn't talk about track racing. Tell me about your history in that.
Oh God. Okay. My most recent, I would say, is like anybody listening to this probably has nothing. No offense to your listeners, but they probably don't know much about.
Neither do I, and you got
Cycling.
me a track bike.
Yeah. That's because that was my sponsor. So
Thank you,
I
by
got
the
you a
way.
bike. Well, okay, track bikes are fixed one gear, single gear, and there's no brakes on them. So they used to be for the velodrome only, and actually we're in the 20s now, 2020, but in the 1920s, it
timely.
was a very popular sport, and Madison Square Garden was actually a velodrome, and you would go watch like velodrome races.
Can you tell me what a velodrome is?
It's like
Did that bicycle with the big wheel and then the little wheel in the back, and the guy's smoking a pipe while he's doing it? He's got tails on his tuxedo as he's riding around.
I think those were the 1800s, and that was the situation. But
1820s. I'm sorry, I messed it up.
it's like that bowl. It's like a bowl, like it's got a banked. It's like a banked track, and it goes around in a circle. And so you can ride up the wall and down the wall, and like it's wild, and you don't. There's no brakes on that track, and
You have that big chain that you swing and people like in Premium Rush.
that would be so cool. No, that would also be terrifying. But yeah, it used to be like this super popular spectator sport, and people would like in Japan still people bet on it. It's called Kirin racing.
And that's also a beer.
Yeah.
Is it sprinting or is it like steady state, like long ride?
So like track and field running, that you know how there's multiple different
Okay.
like
Or
yeah,
events
there's
or
multiple
whatever.
different events, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with velodrome. There's like the super sprinter events that are like one lap or like, there's
That
match
sounds
sprints. Yeah, it used to be something I was really good at, but now I don't have the fast twitch muscles anymore. But like match sprints are really fun to watch because it's two people pitted against each other and you're just waiting to see who's going to go first. And like in cycling, you like it's a big difference if you get on someone's wheel. It's called drafting, right? It makes a huge difference. So if someone goes and you have enough time, you get on their wheel and you ride that wheel, you're going to win that race because you can just whip around them.
So
right?
it's strategy. It's not actual
There's
talent or
so
fitness.
much strategy to it. And it's a lot of like, there's like fake outs. Like people will
Right.
do like a fake sprint and then go back up the track. And like someone will go so slow, they're like almost standing still because they're like waiting for the other person and they're like staring at each other.
What?
It's really crazy. Like I swear, you're going to fall down a rabbit hole. Google match sprint velodrome and just see these crazy YouTube videos. And then at the Olympics, like I think it was last year or 2 years ago, this woman was like elbowed up track. Something happened. And she straight up rides the wall. Like she got bumped like off the track, but rode the wall. It was the most insane thing. It's like BMX. Like it was the most
What?
craziest thing I'd ever seen. Yeah, she was like
Like some
I think it was
Tron shit.
I wish I could remember her name.
Well,
Yeah.
Would you fly off the track if it wasn't banked?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, you just wouldn't
That's
be able to go as
awesome.
fast.
yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Centrifugal
Oh.
force.
So then, what was your specialty? What
Match
distance?
sprints was my jam.
yeah.
I loved match sprints. And my coach still to this day, I called him up the other day to like get his opinion on something, and he was like, you're my biggest disappointment.
What?
like-
Wasted talent?
He was like, you could have gone
You
to
could
the
have been a super-
Olympics. You could have been something. And I was like, I like my life, man. It's cool.
Could have been a superstar. Anyway.
Could have been a stunt double.
Yeah.
Could have kept it that. We still haven't talked about your eating because I know you were going nutso, like
Eat
never
it.
sleeping in New York. I know now you don't eat meat. What? How are you alive? Don't understand. Also, we talked about this on the last episode. I just watched that Don't Eat Meat documentary, whatever it's called.
Game Changers?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but I heard people are like, you'd like it. And I'm like, I'm already basically vegan. Why do I need to watch it?
You should have
Like,
been in it.
eh,
I should
whatever.
have followed you, saying, look at Kim, and she can do it.
I mean, there's so.
So, okay, sorry. First question. Do you eat anything?
Do I eat?
I smell kale occasionally.
Waft.
I'm more of a waft than an eater.
You guys are such meatheads.
Do you eat
Yeah.
protein?
I eat everything. I eat all the time.
Starting with
Okay. Well,
Does your protein have a shit ton of carbs with it? Because you can't get just protein.
that's not true.
Well, go on. What do you have that's
There's
just...
like lots of plant-based proteins out there now. So like when I'm training really hard or when I'm like getting, when I'm in my like training and racing season, I do a lot of shakes, pea protein and other forms of plant-based protein.
shake as a meal replacement?
No,
Shake as
no,
a
no, no,
supplemental?
no. I don't do meal replacement because I'm burning so many calories already. Like I'm not trying to like lose weight.
Some Ensure.
And then I eat so many vegetables, but also like this is something people don't realize is that like broccoli has protein.
Tons.
Like
Yes, but there's so much carbs with it. That's what I'm saying.
with broccoli,
Yeah. What? Yes.
Broccoli.
Okay. I can have a piece of chicken and it's only protein. I can't like think of a thing that isn't a supplement in the veggie world that is just protein. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone says beans, but that's like a lot of carbs with it, or eggs, but there's a lot of fat with it.
yeah. I love fat. I love
I do
fat.
love
I
fat
eat
too.
so much fat. So
Welcome to the world.
I don't care.
Are you keto?
No, I mean, I don't subscribe to keto or like low carb or anything. I eat
You subscribe to
to
vegetarian,
nourish.
almost vegan.
Yeah.
Well, you don't subscribe to anything, but you clearly have preferences. You figured out what you
Yeah.
like and what you don't like, and what's like
I
what's
mean, I
going on?
don't do meat because the reason I don't eat meat is for environmental reasons. That's why I don't eat meat, because it'll mitigate my carbon footprint and
Wow.
the
So it's not a health
mass
choice.
no, it's actually not a health choice. If I was trying to be like healthier, like I'd probably eat some animal protein sometimes.
Moderation. I'm not familiar.
Yeah. No, it's just because like industrial farming is just disgusting and I don't want to participate, so that's why I don't do it. Um
How long ago did you switch? Stop eating protein.
I
or
actually stopped
stop
eating meat when I was 13 because I was sad about the animals. But my
Wow.
intentions now have changed.
You didn't even watch Fast Food Nation or
No.
whatever. It didn't take a documentary.
No.
13. My
Didn't
goodness.
take a documentary to brainwash you.
Just super empathetic.
Yeah.
And,
So what do you eat? Anything?
well, I do plant-based protein most days, although like on a casual when I'm not training and competing, I just eat food. I eat lentils, I eat beans, I do eat eggs, so I'm not
Just eat
100%
food.
vegan.
Everyone. There you go.
Easy.
I do seitan. I do
How do you feel about soy protein?
I eat it.
Really?
It doesn't
the
bother
face.
me. I prefer Beyond Meat to Impossible Meat. There was one time you and I went to an Impossible
Yeah.
event.
It was
and
great.
I ate so much, but I think I felt like bloated and a little like
well,
puffy.
there goes our sponsor.
I'm sorry. I'll take it. I would take it. I still eat shit tons of Impossible Meat.
I still have some in my freezer. I haven't cooked it yet.
I still have some too. I've cooked so much of it.
It's
I think I just ate something we ate that night made me
Yeah.
feel puffy,
Huh.
but I don't know if it was the
well,
Impossible.
I don't know how I
Could it
feel
be the
about
30 beers you guys put down?
Could have been that. Yes.
puffy. What? I like trying to make vegetables seem like other stuff. I feel like, just have whatever. You don't like break up with your ex and then tell the new person to act like your ex.
No. No.
Well,
it's
you
not like that
could.
at all. It's like, no, how about this, Allie? It's more like you were dating a complete asshole, right? Who had like an amazing body.
It
And
might
so you
actually-
ditch-
Sounds great.
So wait, then you ditch that asshole with the amazing body and you meet someone who's
Meat.
really a good person, really smart, interesting, creative person who's not muscly, but then you guys start dating and you start working out together and they start to get a six pack. I think it's more
Okay.
like that. I don't think it's like I'm not taking vegetables and being like, I miss meat. Let me turn these vegetables into meat.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's how it
fuck the
seems.
meat industry.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat vegetables. And if it happens to taste like something delicious, I'll eat that too.
Okay. Fair. Do you really it would take so much broccoli to get enough protein, or at least the amount that I'm eating. I also think I might have too much protein. I'm just like ascribing to what they say, 1 gram to 1 pound of body weight. Do you do that?
No,
You don't.
I don't.
You even pay attention to your macros at all? No. What? Don't feel bad about that.
Do you pay
Why?
attention
You should feel great
to,
about that.
like the timing of your eating?
Yes. I mean, I really don't count my grams of protein. Okay, you know
Calories?
what? Here's the thing. If I felt like what I was doing wasn't working and I felt stuck and I wasn't getting the results that I wanted, then yes, I would start to assess and analyze and take and start to track things. But so far, the way I've trained and the goals that I've had, it's worked for me. So I haven't needed to change it.
Your body's just doing exactly what you want. That's great.
Yeah, I mean now, as I'm getting older, I still want to be fit and I still want to compete at a pro level. So,
She's drinking a beer right now, by the way. Max and I have water, and she walks in. Like, you guys got a beer?
cyclists, man, we just calories,
Shredding calories.
calories.
God, it was the worst. You guys and swimmers, it's the fucking worst.
Yeah.
I remember we used to do when I was in college. I wrestled, so we would watch every single thing that we ate. And in winter practice, you practice, then you go to quote unquote lunch, but you don't really do anything. You just go and sit in the cafeteria for half an hour, and then you go home.
Jeez.
Swimmers would be there also, and they'd be putting down like sandwiches made out of pancakes instead of bread, and like a full rack of ribs each person, and then all night they just booze all night because they're like, we need whatever. We're killing the calories. We can't
And they're
keep
supposed
weight
to have a
on.
layer of fat too to help them float.
Buoyancy,
And
yeah, it's a
I've heard it
nightmare.
has something to do with the pool being cold. That thermogenics actually makes a huge difference for swimmers. I'm sure it did with when you're bike messaging too.
Messengering.
Yeah.
Messengering.
Because you were freezing cold in New York, right?
Oh, it was
Did you wear a
so
jacket?
bad. Are you joking?
Pee
Do you guys want to know all the creepy, weird things we've done to stay warm and dry?
your
Yes.
pants.
No, no, I didn't go that far. That's something you do in like a wetsuit when you're doing a triathlon or something.
Yeah,
But
or
this
just
is-
a regular. Sorry. No, yeah, all right, go
Get
ahead.
off my couch.
Let's say the things that you guys do first, and then yeah.
So like if you're about to embark on like a full 8-hour day in like sleet, like I would coat my feet in Vaseline and
What?
then put like wool socks on and then put a plastic bag over that and then put my feet in my shoes.
What does the Vaseline do?
It like
Nice.
seals. It's like a barrier from water. Like you ever put Vaseline on your skin, like it makes your skin waterproof.
So Vaseline's better than like just having really pruny toes.
Yes,
Okay.
it's far more comfortable.
You didn't slip off the handle, the bike pedals?
When you put your feet in shoes.
Wet shoes.
And then as far as hand gear, I like there's all this techie hand gear, but I always would default to mittens because keeping your fingers together
Yep.
is always warmer. So I'd do wool hand, the flippy ones where you'll still use my phone and then flip them back.
What about face? You wearing a mask?
I would use sometimes like
Oh, a clown nose.
like a what do you call those? The
A robber mask.
yes. The balaclavas.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then like your breath would make it like condensation-y or whatever, and then that would freeze.
Freeze on the inside.
So then you
What?
just have like frozen cloth against your face. Oh, it was awful. It
That
was so
sounds
bad.
miserable. Ugh.
Yeah, and then you just get used to it. And like I was like, cool, I'm gonna have like wrinkles by the time I'm 25. Like I'll just
You look great, by the way.
I do Botox.
And
Then I moved to LA. It's Taylor's oldest time.
and your current workout now. I know that you're a cyclist, right? So I just expect that like all you do is bike all the time, and it's just like steady state cardio, and you have trunks for legs, and that's about it. Please change my mind. Or is that what it is to be a cyclist and have the KymNonStop body?
My legs aren't that big though. I
Yep,
think your
okay,
legs
fine.
are actually bigger than mine right now.
Okay, well yes, probably, but that's
What is the cyclist body?
I mean, bigger on the bottom than on the top for sure. Insane tan lines.
This is also a figure skater's body.
It's just true.
Minus
And
the
then it
tan lines, I
depends on
guess.
the cyclist. It depends. Are you a mountain biker? Are you a cyclocross racer? Are you roadie? Roadies tend to be the wayfish ones, right? Like the most skinny on top, like the most, and like just skinny overall, like really skinny bodies.
Because they're going hundreds of miles a day.
And they do calorie like restrict because
You're
their
faster.
power to
Whoa.
weight ratio is like a big deal. So that kind of
But then you're like so thin, you're like a sail, and then you're just wind resistant, so that's not good.
You're like a paper airplane.
Yeah.
You're just coasting.
Okay.
But track racers tend to be like the most like beefy trunk legs. Like if you Google like quads on a cyclist and you get the most insane ones, those tend to be track racers or sprinters. So yeah, it just depends on their discipline really. And if you follow any cyclist, I really like Kate. Her Instagram handle is Kate plus Fate. She is a world champion mountain biker, and she's sponsored by Red Bull as well. And she posts her videos of her working on the Red Bull high performance gym, and seeing what she does, like I think is really cool. As she shows her workout, her off season training. So check her out.
What kind of stuff is it? Well, what's a good workout? I mean, cyclist, you'd think, oh, you just get on the bike. Do you do like other quote unquote unrelated exercises that you
Yeah.
think have really helped you?
I mean, I wouldn't call it unrelated because everything's related, right? But off-season training, yeah, like more strength training, more hypertrophy,
Bodybuilding.
core,
So
and
you look good on Instagram.
yeah, so you look good on Instagram, but also like
That's the goal.
packing on more muscle in the off-season. So really, for me, in like December, January, February, it's like putting on long miles and then like doing strength training.
Bulking.
Yeah, and then during the season, it's a lot of riding. Yeah.
And so, like, say the average fitness enthusiast, like, what can they take away from a cyclist if they want to sort of add that into their workout? What would you suggest? Just
Mm.
getting on the bike and going for it for a long time?
Well, also Rebecca Rush, another athlete I really like and look up to, is also sponsored by Red Bull, but she has this thing where she says you're either doing intervals or long and slow. Like there's
Yeah.
no in between. You're either going hard as fuck in the paint with like,
Or super short. Yeah.
yeah, interval training or long and slow. And like those long and slow days are long and slow. So I think being able to like have that difference, to be able to train those two different
So you do both.
yeah, to be able to do those, to be able to have both of those abilities trained for your body, like the fast twitch and then the
discipline to do
endurance.
both those things.
Yeah.
A lot of guys love.
Personally, I
doing
could
a
do
bunch-
long and slow all day long now.
Yeah.
And then the fast twitch, like the intervals,
The intervals
I
is
hate
rough.
it. They make me so sick.
But there's something about like, ooh, I'm going to be done in 20 minutes because I'm doing 4 Tabatas versus this is just 2 hours of
Oh,
Fit
2 hours
Heads
is short.
podcast while I'm
Yeah.
on my bike.
I would rather ride for 7 hours than do a 20-minute interval training. I know
Really?
it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
Intervals make me nauseous.
Would you ever suggest, okay, because like this is actually the CrossFit mentality where they're trying to make you good at like a wide range of things, but a powerlifter is only gonna squat, So I guess the average person
Squatter's gonna squat for sure.
you would suggest that like going long and then also doing intervals, but like are there people out there that you would suggest like only doing the short stuff and not like wasting your time on the long or vice versa because you're just focusing on bike marathons?
Yeah, I mean, sprinters, I guess. Like, I mean, sport-specific training. That's when I cut out doing anything extra. Like, I stopped surfing and I stopped running and I stopped doing a lot of the weightlifting I was doing when I got
Because cross training's
really,
bad.
when I got really serious into my sport and I was racing
Wow.
against World Tour pros. Like, I was like, all right, if I want to beat these women who like are some of the fastest women in the world, like I have to ride like I mean it. And this is what I do. And yeah, I mean, the gym training is helpful for like when you get to that, like, you want that, like, what is it? Micro gains. You just want that, like,
incremental,
increment,
yeah.
right? You just want that little bit of an edge. That's when you do all the cross training. But like, really, truly, if it's a sport, you just play the fucking sport. What you do.
When you say long stuff and or short, quick stuff and long days, do you ever do it the same day?
No.
So today is going to be my long day. Tomorrow's my.
Yeah.
I know classically a lot of like meatheads we'll do our lift and then we'll hop on treadmill or whatever for a half hour. I got to do my cardio
is that
after
a long
my
day for
blah,
you?
blah, blah. Well, for the typical, yes.
Yes?
For me, yes.
Yes?
And I think I speak for the typical
me.
gym meathead as, that's, after my Sunday morning hungover lifting session, half an hour of cardio. That's like the thing that's what we used to do in college.
If you're cutting.
Yeah.
Not right now. It's freaking January.
What the fuck do you listen to? I mean,
When I'm
other
riding
than
for
this
like
podcast,
7 hours.
obviously, yeah.
Obviously, this podcast.
Yeah, this podcast.
Mhm.
I listen to, my head can go into a really dark place sometimes. No, I listen to podcasts. I listen to music. Sometimes I listen to
Wait,
nothing.
is that the name of your podcast? My head
Really
can
dark
go to a really
place.
dark place right now.
Trademark it. Write it down.
I mean, when I did Leadville, I was racing for like
So you'll listen to nothing
10 hours.
for 10 hours?
Racing for 10 hours. Like,
What?
well, I don't think I listen. Yeah, sometimes you can't. You're not listening to anything. And it's like,
Unrelated
That's-
question. Completely unrelated question. Do you meditate?
I have been working on it. I do think it's a much cheaper version of therapy.
Yeah.
Do you think it makes you perform better too, like physically, athletically, or just like emotionally throughout the day?
This is making me realize how many professional athletes I actually know, who I'm friends with, who I look up to. But
Okay, well,
Colin,
we
Colin
have to book
O'Brady.
guests, so
I'm
hook
gonna
us
drop
up.
another one. Colin O'Brady. He just broke another world record
Casual.
of he climbs summits, and he was the first person to cross Antarctica solo, unsupported. Crazy. But he credited a lot of his ability to do so by meditating and like the hardcore like go somewhere, don't talk to anyone for 2 weeks
Holy
meditation.
moly.
Yikes.
Jedi shit.
Yeah, but
Yeesh.
he was crossing Antarctica by himself.
Well, he's just got no service. That's the problem. He's probably fucking FaceTiming people and they're like, bro, I can't. It just looks white. I can't see it. It's just a bunch of snow. The reason I ask is a lot of people talk about like distance, long and slow workouts, and then they don't listen to stuff and they credit that as like a form of meditation. Like doing a simple-ish physical activity helps
Even
them
driving,
focus
people
on
say
something.
that.
Anyway, meditation's great. Hilarious.
I agree.
Hooray, meditation.
Yeah.
Rapid fire questions. When you were a little kid, did you have any fitness inspirational people? Obviously, you've listed 20 of them now, but they're also your colleagues. And
Right.
when you were a little
us.
kid,
Okay, yeah, my little brother was better at everything than I was, and I always just wanted to be taken seriously.
He's fat now.
He's actually a bodybuilder.
Oh,
He, like,
all
does
right.
bodybuilding.
casual.
Yeah.
Cool. How do you get over a hangover?
I don't get hungover.
Ooh.
Do you credit that with some sort of a level of fitness?
I think I just don't drink that much.
She says, beer in hand.
I mean, I don't. I'm very moderate.
Is that because of fitness, or is it just that that's like your personality?
I'm a barfer, so like I like if I drink too much, my body is like, okay, never mind, and I like will excuse myself. You guys will never know, and I'll just disappear. I'll Irish goodbye, take care of it, like, done. No,
Did.
snap my fingers.
I mean, sort of saying, what is your cocktail of choice? Beer.
Is this a drinking podcast or if
No, it
We
is.
are just fascinated with drinking and working out because no one else talks about it, so we're doing it a lot.
I feel like a lot of people have talked about it now. Okay, I'm just gonna challenge you guys though because I think it's been done a lot now.
No, everyone's like, yeah, you can have a beer. That's what Michelob Ultras even said. Like, a beer fits
That's 'cause
in with an
legally-
active lifestyle. And I'm
Legally,
like, yeah.
They can't promote
What about
binge
12?
drinking. Okay, my go-to cocktail of choice would probably be a gin and tonic.
Oh.
Gym and tonic? Oh, was almost a podcast name for us.
Yeah. Do you have another name for this podcast that's better than the one we have?
That's the one.
Jim and Tonic.
Did you bike here?
I did not today. I had a crazy schedule. I had to drop some things at.
That's tough.
Okay.
Yeah. What about when you have to like carry stuff? That's the worst. When I have like a big thing that I need to get somewhere and I would rather bike and you got to take a car.
I have a
That's the
messenger
workout.
bag though that I can pretty much carry anything in.
Guitar?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a bag for that.
Really?
I have a bag for all these things.
Sweet. I'm biking to concerts from now on.
Yeah, I used to bike to my shows with like my synth in my bag and like everything. Yeah, my keyboard stand.
That's so dope. Badass.
You can do it. I believe in you.
If you were to purchase. So we talked about home workouts a lot. You are a home workout guru.
Seated too.
Yeah. If you can purchase, you have to purchase one piece of something that will get you to work out or inspire you to work out, or
Bowflex.
I need a Bowflex, or I need a kettlebell, or I need a fucking new
I own a
gym
kettlebell.
pants or whatever. You can purchase one thing to like get you psyched up or really nail a workout. What is that one thing you're purchasing?
I love a kettlebell.
One kettlebell.
I love a kettlebell.
Ooh.
But I this isn't a plug. I haven't used it yet, but I'm fascinated by Tonal and I want to try it.
Oh no, what's that?
It's an at-home resistance training piece of equipment that looks like mirror.
Oh.
They're bringing me in for a screen test too. So like maybe I'll be working for them. But we'll see.
Cool.
Very cool.
Anything else? Rapid fire.
Do you have anything else?
You've
You've
completely
covered
thoroughly covered everything
You
that
dominated the podcast.
Oh right, cheat meals. We were gonna ask about
There's no
that.
such
We
thing.
sort of talked about.
There's no such thing as cheat meals if you eat what you love every day.
She just
Just
loves
like a cheat
fucking
life.
crap food.
Fantastic.
I love broccoli.
I do eat Cheetos. I actually did a bike tour once on Cheetos and beer. It was a 2-day bike tour, so I didn't die. But
Lost weight.
also, did you know you can light a Cheeto like a match and
Oh,
then
yeah.
just watch it burn. That
It's
kind of
weird.
changed my opinion of Cheetos.
Silly string too. Really, really flammable. Be very careful with silly string.
I don't like comparing silly string to Cheetos because I eat one of them.
Silly string.
Well, not anymore.
It's salty, isn't it? It's like Play-Doh.
How do you know that? I don't know.
Interesting. Interesting.
It's vegan too.
When you eat what you love, you know.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. This was actually quite illuminating, despite the fact that I knew a whole lot about you already.
Great.
Yeah. And yeah. Back another time.
And check me out on YouTube on Allie's YouTube channel and mine.
Yes, and hers, KymNonStop,
Find me on Instagram.
on every. Your KymNonStop on everything, right?
Kim with a Y.
KymNonStop.
Kim with a Y.
Thanks. Abs.